Elvis Presley's attic was opened after 48 years, and who was inside will leave you speechless. What if the most mind-bending Elvis mystery isn't about whether he faked his death, but about who kept living above his coffin after he died? Picture this: archivists twist a key that hasn't turned since 1977. The door moans open, and the flashlight beams hit a military cot that's been freshly slept in. Sheets rumpled, pillow indented. A battery lantern still glows faint amber. Peach cans, stamped best by 1982, sit empty on the floor. And on a dusty radio, the dial is locked to Memphis police dispatch, like someone needed to know the moment guards changed shift. For 48 years, Graceland's attic was more than a storage room. It was somebody's hideout. Was it an overprotective relative, a grief-stricken superfan, or an insider with secrets too dangerous to leave? Tonight, we follow the trail of half-eaten rations, dog-eared Bibles, and a single nickname scrawled on an envelope that might expose the attic's long-term guest. If you think you've heard every Elvis conspiracy, think again, because the real jaw-dropper isn't where the king might have gone. It's who stayed behind, right over our heads, for nearly 5 decades, and why no one noticed. Stay with me. By the time we climb back down those stairs, the name on that envelope may change everything you believe about the Presley legend. The birth of a fortress. Rewind to April 1957. 22-year-old Elvis pulls his pink Cadillac through wrought iron gates, hands over a check for $102,500, and christens Graceland as the kingdom of rock and roll. On day one, barn stalls turn into stables for prize Tennessee walkers, a shooting range sprouts behind the paddock, and a sailor-suited chimp named Scatter races screaming through hallways, stealing lipstick tubes and tumblers of bourbon from stunned debutantes. Yet, just steps away from that carnival, Elvis builds a lily-ringed meditation garden where he sings gospel at dawn, while neighbor kids press their faces to the fence in awe. Downstairs, he adds the legendary jungle room, wall-to-wall lime green shag, carved teak as heavy as ship timber, and a waterfall that hums like distant rain. Upstairs, he crafts what friends call Cloud 9, blackout curtains, triple televisions blinking news on permanent mute, and an intercom summoning peanut butter banana sandwiches at 3 a.m. To cross the stair landing is to step into Elvis's heartbeat. Nobody enters without permission. Everything changes the night of August 16th, 1977, when a quiet thud upstairs stills the house forever. 2 days later, grave robbers try stealing his coffin. Father Vernon moves Elvis and Gladys to the meditation garden under flashlight convoy, then orders the entire second floor locked tight. New alarms snake under carpets, and a Pinkerton guard sits watch. From that day forward, the door at the top of the stairs becomes legend, and Graceland shifts from playground to fortress. 24 hours to midnight, August 15th, 1977, 10 p.m. Elvis smashes racquetballs in his private court, sweat soaking a navy tracksuit. His entourage hears him drift to the piano and whisper through unchained melody, voice trembling yet defiant. Midnight passes. He gulps peach ice cream, swallows painkillers for spinal spasms, then climbs to Cloud 9 with fiancée Ginger Alden. 2 a.m. He appears briefly in the hall, gulping water, chasing barbiturates with alert pills, desperate to balance out his own chemistry. 9 a.m. The curtains stay sealed, bedroom still. By 2:33 p.m., Ginger, worried by the silence, pushes the bathroom door and finds Elvis supine, pajama bottoms around his ankles, face already turning blue. Road manager Joe Esposito sprints upstairs, pounding CPR, while gold records glint behind him. At 3:30, the hospital pronounces what no one dares believe. Medical examiner Dr. Jerry Francisco tells cameras the king died of heart arrhythmia, natural causes. What he withholds leaks within days. 14 prescription drugs in the bloodstream. An enlarged heart, double standard size, a colon swollen grotesquely from crash diet abuse. At the center of every prescription sits George Dr. Nick Nicopolis, who wrote Elvis more than 10,000 doses in 8 months. Dr. Nick insists he was managing a patient in chronic pain, State investigators later call it reckless and yank his license. Decades later, author Sally Hodel argues a genetic time bomb, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, made Elvis prone to lung and liver collapse, meaning the pills may have been desperate self-medication, not reckless indulgence. Whatever truth lies at the center, it perished behind upstairs walls no outsider would see, until 2025. Conspiracies take the stage. Hours after the funeral, a ticket agent says a heavyset man, wearing sunglasses indoors and calling himself John Burroughs, Elvis's occasional alias, bought a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires. From there, Elvis watch mania erupts. He's spotted pumping gas in Oklahoma, serving burgers in Kalamazoo, preaching in Arkansas under the name Pastor Bob Joyce. Tabloids obsess over the misspelt middle name Aaron on his grave, claiming the coffin held a wax dummy. The myth machine clatters on for decades, masking the harder question, why did no one stop Elvis's spiral? With the attic locked and official files redacted, imaginations feast on blank space. Graceland under siege. Graceland has always drawn moths to its neon flame. Souvenir hunters, rumor peddlers, and investors eager to bottle nostalgia. But 2024 was different. Early on a rainy Monday in May, Shelby County court clerks logged a filing from Nosani Investments and Private Lending LLC claiming the Presley estate had defaulted on a $3.8 million loan allegedly signed by the late Lisa Marie. The document looked official, embossed notary seal, meticulous legal boilerplate, even a Memphis attorney's signature, copied so well it fooled the courthouse scanner. Within hours, local radio blasted, "Graceland to be auctioned next week." Cable pundits speculated on whether the Jungle Room's lime green carpet would be yanked out and sold by the square inch. Fan forums went thermonuclear. A Facebook group called Guardians of Graceland hit 50,000 members overnight. Elderly devotees who had once tossed teddy bears on stage in 1972 now threatened to chain themselves to the front gate. One TikToker drove from Ohio, live streaming every mile while sobbing into the camera. "They are stealing our childhood in broad daylight." Inside the mansion, Riley Keough convened a midnight strategy meeting. By dawn, her legal team had located 3 red flags. The lender had no Tennessee business license. Its mailing address was a UPS store in Jacksonville, Florida, and the notary stamp belonged to a clerk who died in 2015. Armed with those facts, Riley sprinted to Chancery Court, filed for an emergency injunction, and faced a packed gallery of journalists hungry for sound bites. Judge Jode Jenkins didn't hesitate. Graceland, he ruled, isn't mere collateral. It's a living chapter of American culture. He froze the sale on the spot. But the scare revealed a chilling reality. As long as Elvis's second floor stayed shrouded in legend, scammers could weaponize that mystery. If forged paper almost tore the roof off Graceland, what else might slither through the cracks? Riley decided secrecy was no longer a shield. It was bait. The only way to kill the parasites was to light up the attic they'd been guessing about for decades. The attic, Unsealed. January 8th, 2025, Elvis's 90th birthday, and dawn so cold, the archivist's breath fogs the stairwell. Riley twists the brass key. Dust plumes outward, and fluorescent bulbs flicker awake after half a century. The room spans the entire roofline, rafters stark, temperature kept at 60 degrees Fahrenheit by an old window unit humming dutifully. In neat military rows stand bankers' boxes, scrawled with Elvis's flamboyant hand. Tupelo, 1945. Army Days, Hollywood. Comeback, 68. Vegas, 73. And the chill-inducing After, 1977. At center, a spotless army cot waits. Sheets hospital tight. Shortwave radio tuned to Memphis police. Lantern batteries fresh, though dated 1979. Someone prepared this attic as a bunker, or an escape hatch, and intended to keep using it. Riley's crew approaches the first box. The archivist's gloved fingers tremble, not from cold, but from history, pressing against cardboard flaps, relics that bleed. Bear emerges first, a ragged teddy missing one eye, patches sewn from Gladys Presley's favorite house dress. Tucked under its paw lies Elvis's 4th grade report card. C- in math, A+ in music appreciation, teacher's note, hums constantly, cannot sit still. Childhood poverty hums louder than any waterfall in the jungle room. From army days comes a dog-eared Gideon Bible, corners water-stained, where Elvis cried reading Isaiah 40:31 the night before shipping to Germany. Beside it, a telegram dated August 12, 1958, mother-critical Memphis. 2 days later, Gladys was gone, and a hole opened in Elvis's soul that fans never saw. Hollywood yields a black leather jacket from Jailhouse Rock. Hidden under the lapel, a button-sized microphone wired to a transmitter, allegedly installed by Colonel Tom Parker so he could eavesdrop on studio negotiations. Parker's notebook lists production budgets against profits and ends each line with, "Kid owes me life." In another envelope, Anne Margaret's 1964 letter pleads, "If they force you to choose between fame and life, choose life. I will always hear you in the quiet." Comeback 68 reveals a sweat-soaked velvet rag Elvis held during segment 4. Under bright studio lights, he squeezed it until the nap turned crusty with salt. An alternate lyric sheet for "If I Can Dream" shows lines about red rivers and broken cities, cut by network censors for being too political. Vegas 73 brings the cruelest artifact, a cardiology report warning Elvis that hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, megacolon, and pill dependency could prove fatal within 5 years. Elvis's blue ink answers at the bottom, "Let's roll the dice." Wrapped around the file is his karate gi, armpit stained, lightning bolt patch half unstitched. A grease-spotted recipe card for Aunt Delta May's bread pudding peeks from its pocket, a reminder of comfort far from show lights. Finally, box after, 1977. 4 Scotch reel-to-reel tapes. Tape number 2 spins. The room stills. Elvis sings Unchained Melody alone in an empty racquetball court 3 months before he died. His voice hits a high note, fractures, then breaks entirely into a gasp that sounds like a sob. The archivist stops the reel. No one speaks for a full minute. At the bottom of the box rests a shoebox of unopened fan letters, dated July and August 1977. One from 9-year-old Amy in Missouri says, "Daddy says heroes never die. Please rest before you make him a liar." Elvis never read her plea. The last discovery isn't there at all. Floor grooves show a missing steamer trunk, once labeled Colonel. Security logs reveal attic motion sensors tripped during a 1982 power outage for exactly 12 minutes. Plenty of time to drag a trunk away. Did it hold incriminating contracts, prescription ledgers, love letters that could torch reputations? The trunk's absence is a presence all its own. Myths on trial. Now the attic itself becomes cross-examination. Witness protection rumor? The only exit document is a Delta stub to Miami, dated 5 days after the funeral. Intriguing, but no FBI paperwork. Pastor Bob Joyce rumor? The attic tape captures a voice frayed and struggling for breath. Bob Joyce belts hymns with locomotive power. The similarity vanishes under studio headphones. Empty coffin rumor? Bronze and copper caskets of Elvis's model weigh 880 pounds bare. Add the body, plus internal copper lining to hold dry ice, and you reach the famous 900-pound figure. No wax dummy required. Alien abduction tabloid? The survival cot and canned peaches say bunker, not star cruiser. Colonel Parker blackmail theory? Bugged jacket and missing trunk render, that one maddeningly plausible. Each legend buckles or bends under attic evidence. The one left standing, the Colonel's missing cache, now glares brighter than ever. Rehumanizing the King. Stand in the attic with bear cradled in your palms, and you feel Tupelo's red dirt under your fingernails. Spin the solo tape, and the roar of 50,000 fans collapses into one man grappling with a melody that suddenly feels like a mirror. Crack open the cardiology file and watch a megastar choose applause over oxygen, scribbling, "Let's roll the dice," as if bravado could trump biology. The attic turns Elvis from tabloid punchline back into a son, lover, and scared overachiever. His Bible is dog-eared on verses about running and not growing weary, proof he was praying for stamina as much as salvation. The bugged jacket exposes a father figure manager who trusted profit more than privacy. The unpublished letters, hundreds of them, prove Elvis still recognized the healing power of human voices, even as he numbed his own with pills. Look closer, and you see a timeline of desperate self-preservation. Karate G for discipline, bread pudding recipe for comfort, meditation, garden blueprints for silence. Each artifact is less a trophy than an SOS, flung into the future. If you ever open this box, remember I was human first, legend second. And the attic does more than recast Elvis. It reframes every fan. Those unopened letters are time capsules of ordinary people begging an extraordinary man to live. In that sense, the attic isn't a mausoleum. It's a conversation paused mid-sentence, waiting 48 years for someone to press play again. By listening now, we finally finish that conversation and hand the king back the dignity he was too exhausted to claim for himself. These expansions deepen the legal drama around the 2024 foreclosure scare and add emotional resonance to the attic revelations, boosting both sections' length and narrative weight, while keeping the script's momentum intact. Let me know if you'd like any further tweaks. Resolution and viewer challenge. The attic door stands open now, but preservation is a race against mildew, rumor, and opportunists who still see dollar signs in every dust mote. We're digitizing tapes, scanning letters, even hair samples for DNA, because the king's real legacy isn't a jumpsuit, it's the truth those items whisper. If you want front row seats to the next revelation, when tape number 4 plays live for the first time since 1978, hit subscribe right now. Smash like, so the algorithm knows history beats clickbait. And drop a comment. Which attic find stunned you most? The patched teddy, the bugged jacket, or that vanished trunk? We'll feature top theories in an upcoming episode. Legends scream, but truth often whispers from a cedar-scented attic only a handful of people ever saw. Thanks for climbing those stairs with me. The next locked door is already waiting, and you won't believe what's behind it. Fade out on a soft, instrumental, unchained melody cover as winter sunlight spills across the empty cot and a shoebox of unread letters.